Hey, everybody, it's Minnie Fox. We're in the house live with my special guest, MIKEL REBUN. And we're listening to some saxophone melodies. Can you hear it? Oh, yeah. All right, MIKEL, we're going to talk today about your beautiful music and why you have become absolutely amazing, darling. From the Virgin Islands. I need one of those fruity drinks. I have a girlfriend from Jamaica. She got the fruity drinks.
Oh, God.
Turned out to be a Bahama mama. It was strong as I don't know what.
My.
But anyway, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
This is our second opportunity to hear what's going on with you. And I want to go back a few years before COVID. And we had you on the show when I was just really getting my first little camera together.
Yep.
And you came out and spoke on the red carpet for me. I appreciate that.
That was really nice.
Great. So the second time around, we got some additional music. But if you don't mind kind of going back just a little bit to where we were then and tell us what was going on with you musically at that time.
Oh, I think I was working on my album, Mr. MR.
Look there and tell the fellas Mr.
It's called MR MIKEL REBUN. And that was the album I put out in 2019. I think it's 2019 I put it out. I had a good time with it. And it got a lot of play. It really got a lot of play. I think it went up to like 39 on the radar chart for smoothjazz.com, which
nice.
It was really good. And I had a lot of fun with it. And then what happened with that album, it introduced me to a lot of DJs around the world, you know, because smoothjazz.com, they send your music out to all these different radio stations around the world. Mm-hmm. And it's like most of the radio stations that cover the music that I'm doing is a lot of smooth jazz. They're internet-based radio stations, a lot of them. And so they get a chance to, you get a chance to just exploit your music. People send you lists, get you on a playlist this week. And so it's been going like that for the last 3 years. You know, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a story. We're going to talk about this journey that MIKEL REBUN. You know, I got to put a little in his name when I say it. You just can't say MIKEL. You just can't say Ruben. You got to say Ruben. Hold that art. We're actually starting to show, you know, whenever. So whenever you reach out and you say, hey, Minnie Fox, we need to do a show, I'm going to make some time for you, especially if you're coming from afar, and we're going to make it happen. So let's talk about it with Minnie Fox today with my very special guest, MIKEL REBUN. We're talking about the Jazz Zone here, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So please tell me, what was it like when you were about maybe 15? What was that little boy like?
That was my first introduction to music. I was in high school and was a band instructor, Mr. Lewis Gray. He just passed in the last couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. And it was funny, you know, I was in the classroom and I pointed at the instrument. I say, I want to play that. I want to play that as a clarinet. It was a trumpet. It was a cornet. But I pointed at it. He said, we don't have no more those. That's a cornet, not a clarinet. And we have clarinets, so the band teacher gave me a clarinet. After he gave me the clarinet, it was a long metal clarinet. It wasn't the black ones, it was the long metal one. Okay. And I got that, and I was in the band. I started playing clarinet at 15. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, I wanted to play the sax so bad. And then the next year, mm-hmm, I got into the band, and I would go to the band in the morning, and then in the afternoon, during my study period, I would go practice sax. And then I did that, you know, instead of going to the study period, because study periods, I was in Chicago, right? You know, and the study periods was rough. Those guys used to fight in the study period and all that stuff. So I started going to the study period to the music room, and that's how I picked up the sax. Then I got into the jazz band that year. And then that year I got me a job in the hospital after school.
A working young man.
Y'all
taking notes out there, young people. A working young man.
I got me a job. I was 16. You can work at 16 in Chicago at that time, so I got a job after school. And then I bought me a saxophone, and the rest is history. And then some friends moved to the Virgin Islands, and then I went to check them out, and I went down there, and I stayed down there. And I went down there at 18 years old. And I went with some friends, and I stayed there. I went to finish high school there on my own, and I got a job, different odd jobs, and I was a dishwasher, janitor, and then I was an emergency medical technician for about 7-8 years there. And I moved, to Los Angeles, and I stayed in Los Angeles, worked in the LA Unified for a while with special education. I did special education. I did a concert for like 20 years. About 20 years, I did a concert every year in February, Black History Month.
Okay.
And I would do a concert for the special education at Benjamin Banneker Special Education School in Los Angeles.
Oh.
So that was one of my pet. And then it got to the point I was doing 2 concerts a year. I would do one in February, and then I would do one in the summer. When the summer program, I would play a little mini concert for them.
Okay. So not only are you musically inclined, you can play certain instruments like the clarinet, the saxophone, anything else?
No, I don't play clarinet no more. I have a clarinet, but I don't put time into the clarinet.
That's where you started.
I was started.
He said that's where you started.
I started there, but I don't put time into the clarinet anymore. I put time into the saxophone and the flute. That's it. And
okay, we got the flute in there. That's another one.
So I play around with the flute. Yeah. And then I use the piano to write songs, chords and stuff. But most of the time, what I'm doing now as a writer, this is the strangest thing that happened to me.
So, on that strangest thing, because he jumping me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Y'all didn't tell him Mr. Minnie Fox talk show. Minnie Fox bring in and lead and do, He jumping the sister. He didn't answer all the questions. Before I got to it, I'm just going, So, let's roll it back just a teeny bit.
Okay.
So, MIKEL, I would like to know that when you were on your journey, that path from actually seeing what you thought you wanted to do as a little boy, you engaged a teacher, he gave you an instrument, you made music with that instrument, you played with a band, you got a feel of what it's like to be a part of an ensemble, and then you stretched out on your own, did some other few little things there. You found work and life and had that work-life balance for a minute. You got into that medical field, which is pretty amazing because I think that it takes a certain person to be in the medical field, a police officer, fireman, etc. So thank you for your service in that way.
Thank you.
Now, music has embraced your soul in such a great way.
Yes.
And I've heard some amazing music that just stem from this person sitting here. He just resonates the beat and the rhythm and the sound. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know that you brought one of your instruments today.
Yes.
And I'm going to come back to where you are with your music, but I want to kind of give everybody kind of that flow of what's going on with you.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'd like for you to do, now let me just see it. I want to touch it because, I can say that I had a saxophone. It's absolutely beautiful. He got it all keyed up and oiled up, and we're going to hit a few little notes here for you so you can see what it sounds like. Because some people get a saxophone. The saxophone and the trumpet are totally different from one another.
Yeah, this is a woodwind.
That's a woodwind, okay.
And it has a reed. It has a wooden reed on it.
Okay.
And it makes the sound. But a trumpet just had a metal mouthpiece, and you have to make the sound through the brass of the mouthpiece.
There's a brother duo here in Vegas. They're called the Sax Brothers. One has the sax and one has the trumpet.
Oh, wow.
And they do an amazing show. I have to take you to see that show sometime when you're visiting.
I want to do that.
Yes.
I want to do that.
So we'd like to hear a little bit of the saxophone. Or is there a particular something you want to play?
You know what? I love this song. I always play it. I play it on a lot of gigs, but especially for the anniversary. So let's go. Oh my God.
Can we just turn it up? I got a vocal instrument too down in here somewhere.
I should have warmed my horn up a little more before I started playing.
That's all good. That's what this is all about. Yeah. It's all the impromptu reason why we're live. I love it because you can't stop and record and rewind and redo it and then edit. We don't do that on the Minute Fox Talk Show, do we, y'all? No, we do everything just as it is. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Now, I want to ask you, when you have your harness, they call this a harness?
Yeah, neck strap.
A neck strap. Okay. Does it actually hold the weight or it just simply helps you to hold your instrument better?
Both.
Both, okay.
Both. It holds the instrument because sometimes when you just you can just, but it is, you're still holding the instrument, but it allows you to have some flex where the instrument is not falling out.
Oh, I see.
Because without the hook, you have to hold the instrument itself. But with this, it allows you flexibility. You can move it around without worrying about it's going to fall.
Okay. And what are the spacing of the fingers,
Well,
because when Lizzo's blowing her flute, she has it all like this. And she being all super sexy on stage with the wind blowing in her hair and stuff, and her fingers are moving around.
The fingering on the flute and the saxophone is basically the same,
okay. Can we hold this up a little bit
sure.
so everybody can see?
Yeah, this is
while you're twiddly-deedling.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a Selma Mark. I think this is a Mark 7.
Okay.
Mark 7. There's a 7. It's a 7 right there on the horn.
What does that mean?
Well, this is a series of horns. Like they got the Mark 6. Mark 6 Selma is it's more pricier than this. It's when it was made, and they don't make this one anymore.
So if you were playing, and I want to just pull it up a little bit so the audience can see actually where your fingers go, right on the little ivories there, which is pretty cool. See the ivories there? See those ivories? Yeah. So if you were playing, like in school, you learn on the piano, and it's like every good boy does fine.
Yeah.
What does that sound like on there? Because you got to blow through there in order to hit the keys, right?
Well, you talking about notes? You talking about
thirds? Yeah, your notes.
Right?
What are your notes?
Every good boy does. Every good one. You say every good boy does fine?
That's fine.
Oh, God, you got me. That's it.
So that's kind of like, what was that one? The other one.
Every good boy.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol.
That's when you think. That's every good boy does fine.
Yeah.
E, G, B, D, F.
Yeah. The piano teacher took the keys away from me.
Oh, don't worry.
Because I was making noise.
Well,
that was okay because my instrument was here.
But that's funny because, like I say, I'm having fun doing this, and it's funny. That was the first time I did that.
Yeah. You on the Minute Fox Talk Show, is it?
That was funny, because I never thought of it like every good boy does fine.
Yeah, the keys. I just wanted everybody to kind of see your fingers moving around, and Because a lot of us are familiar with that from school, you know, even if you took whatever the class was, you had every good boy does fine. And you had do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, da, da.
And it depends on this. And then the spaces was F-A-C-E, face.
Yes.
F-A-C-E.
Yes.
So,
I remember that. Like I said, my teacher took the keyboard piano thing from me because I wasn't hitting the iris correctly. But that's okay. So look, let's talk about the fact that normally we do a toast with my coffee cups, my signature cups, you know, but we don't have coffee tonight because it's a little too late. We'll be up all night, but that does not mean that MIKEL REBUN can't hold my coffee cup. So we're gonna put it up here. We're gonna turn it towards this way. We're gonna give a toast. You're gonna lean in and grin and smile for the pictures later. Cheese. That's right, he got my cup in his hand. How about that? Because he's world famous and, you know, you got to hold the cup. It's called product placement, y'all. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you told me what this little young man was about, how you were when you were a preteen and a teenager. And then you moved into your adult life. You started doing some really great things. We've also talked about the fact that the first time you and I met, you were working on a particular album. You had some individual singles that came out, and you've been doing great. I love the flow of your synergy and what you're doing with your music. Now, when we opened the show, we had a beautiful song that was playing. Hey, and we're going to play it again a little later. But I'd like for you to tell everybody what you were thinking, and look right there in that camera when you wrote
Sly Jungle.
That name. Y'all, did you hear what I said? S-L-Y, like Sly Rupert or Sly and the Family Stone, but it's like Sly Jungle. Like, woo. Where did you get that name from? Let's go there.
Sly Jungle is coming off an album. I'm producing an album with this song. The album is called Just Like the Radio.
Okay.
And all the songs that I'm producing on this album have like a little, I would say, a tribute type.
Okay.
Because like when I wrote the Sly Jungle, I was thinking funk, but also we had artist Sly and Sly Stone.
Okay.
Then my next tune is on the album is called F.B. Mays, and I say F.B. Mays, and I immediately talking about Frankie Beverly and Mays. That's the name of the tune, F.B. Mays. And then I started all the tunes that I'm putting on this album right now reminds you of Just Like the Radio. Songs that you, when you was back in this, I can give away my age, but back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they had certain sounds for radio.
Exactly.
And this is what this song is a tribute to radio, Just Like the Radio. And this Sly Jungle was one of those songs that's like a tribute to Sly Stone.
Okay. Now, what are some of your other instruments in that particular song? Because you're featuring your saxophone. You're featuring your saxophone, but what are some of the other instruments that make this Sly Jungle so amazing?
Well, when I first started, the song didn't have no percussions in it, and then I started doing some experimenting. I started searching through some of my different rhythms and stuff that I had in my software, and I created a pattern that you can hear at the beginning. I got a big conga sound at the beginning of it now, and then after I created that, then I just put it all together with the song, and then it was just like, you know, one of my friends said that song doesn't have enough jungle in it. I said jungle. She said, it doesn't have the jungle sound. I said okay. So when I was told that, then I started working on to make it jungle, make it sound more jungle, and that's why I came up with those patterns. And then you know the guy, that's funny. You said that. Mauricio Guerrera Jr. He's a guitarist.
That's a mouthful.
Mauricio Guerrera Jr.
Mauricio Guerrera Jr. You know you gotta roll the R's.
Is the guitarist that played on it, and David Vasquez is the co-producer that helped me produce it. Okay. And then we have my friend Phil Martin as the drummer on this.
Wonderful.
And it's just four of us because David is a producer. He plays bass with us in the keyboards and stuff. We do all that, most of the bass with the keyboard.
Well, say their names again.
David Vasquez is the producer, co-producer. Philip Martin is the drummer. And Mauricio Guerrero Jr. is the guitarist on this project. Mauricio.
Along with MIKEL, REBUN.
And I'm on the saxophone.
Oh. Well, guys, thank you so very much for, cultivating and getting involved with MIKEL, because y'all making noise in the jungle on this song.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? And it's a funny thing. When I was recording it, I was telling the guitarist, just play the groove, and I can edit and put the music. I can switch everything around, and that's what I created that from all of the stuff that he gave me. He gave me a lot of data, and I created the data. So now that you hear that, all of that, I put that whole project together, editing and putting it together.
Well, you made mention a few times of your home state. And it's a beautiful place that we love to travel to, just to go vacation and put our feet and our little toesies in the white sand and the blue ocean. And, and the girls walk around in the bikinis and the guys are all buffed up and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was having fun. So tell us a little bit about your home state and why so many of us love the Virgin Islands.
Well, I'm going to tell you, retiring there was the best thing that ever happened to me. I can get to work all the time, musically, because there's a lot of places that provide service, so I can go do a solo act or a duet or whatever. Okay. I get to create music there, and I have a little, I have a house. I bought a house there. I'm retired. I bought a house and a 2-bedroom house with my little studio in it, and I created a vibe, so I go in there and I work, but most of my work comes from when I come up here with David Vasquez. He's the co-producer. I can go in the studio and just play the melody with no music. This is how, and the people don't understand that I can write like that. I can go play a whole song with no music on a click track. And I tell the David, I say, David, I want you to play a bass line like this. And he play it. Then all of a sudden he started putting some chords with it.
Yeah.
Is that
a
me?
Man with his own time clock. Y'all hear that time clock?
Is that me?
That's him. Ding, ding, dinging and carrying on. But that's okay. It kind of keeps us on point so they would know we don't go over time and everything, and it's all good. So we got a few more minutes here just to rapping what we're talking about. So while we rapping and what we're talking about, we want you to understand that when you write or you feel a certain way, you can always put it into your music, into your instruments, into how you convey to people what you were feeling brings that emotion through the music. Yes. So tell me, please, what is one of your favorite songs that gives you that mood of romance and love? And I know you got a lot of them. Just tell us one of them.
My songs? Or
one of your songs that's a beautiful love romantic song.
Wow.
He got a lot of them.
You know what?
I hit him with that one.
Yeah, that is a good one because one of my favorite, even though this is a tune called My Tune.
Okay.
I wrote it for my first wife. And it's a beautiful tune. My Tune is a beautiful tune. And when I first recorded it, I didn't hear all the parts that my co-producer David was putting in there. Mm-hmm. He put all kind of sounds in there. Harps.
Yeah.
And things like, oh God, he put so much stuff in the music. And that tune you can go and listen to it on YouTube. I have 6 projects on YouTube. I have 6 projects on Spotify.
Oh.
And you can download my music on iTunes, Apple, Amazon Music. Just Google my name. I got 6 pages of Google space. And I didn't even realize that. So if you want to find out more about MIKEL REBUN, just punch in MIKEL REUBEN, and you'll find me in any Google, and they'll just find me pictures of me. Or you can go to my Facebook page. I'm just.
Or you can go to Let's Talk About It, Minnie Fox, on the Minnie Fox Talk Show. He didn't give me a chance to ask him to give the plug. He just went right into it. But we still got at least another 8 minutes for me to even get to that part.
Oh my God.
That's okay. Because I got you before Oprah. I got you before Phil Donahue. Before Rachel Ray, when you're trying to cook some food and what you eating and everything. I got you right now as you are. So that way when he becomes this amazing star and he has this huge entourage and can't nobody touch him, he can look back and say, she knew me. We ain't let her in the door. Right?
That's true.
So with that being said, there's a few things that we do here on the Minnie Fox Talk Show. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So we're going to present him with his little what? What y'all call that? His what?
What's that? Star.
It's your Oscar.
Oscar.
Y'all know you gotta lean in the camera for the picture. Put it up there. Yeah, we got that.
I got my Oscar. I got my Oscar.
Your acceptance speech. What you got to say? Thank two people.
Thank you. And thank you. Thank you. This is funny. This is so cool.
All right. And so you also know that this is a diva show. And in the men's world, they say, thank you and hats off to you and thumbs up and break a leg and all that stuff. Well, on my show, you all know that I do something different. And we call that, presenting you with something from the diva show. Now, you don't get to keep it. You're just supposed to touch it and put your hand out and laugh and giggle because you can't take it.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, you don't want to take it. But put your hand up here so you can be just as everybody else. You ready? And you're going to close your eyes. And you're going to bring in the other hand just to touch it right here at the top and not swallow it. And come into the camera. And you're going to cheese a smile and open your eyes. You have your stiletto. Because we say stiletto's off to you. He got the pink feathers, everybody. The stiletto is off to you because you are simply amazing.
Well, thank
you. You empower, you inspire, you motivate, you educate, you give back the gift that God has given to you.
Thank
you tonight are inspiring those that are watching to live, laugh, and have love through music. Whatever it is making you feel good and be good. Now, when you go back and you look at some of my other shows, you're going to see different colors of stilettos, longer, taller stiletto boots. All the different guests that have come on the show receive a stiletto, but they don't get to keep them. I get to take it back. But it's kind of cool because you got the big stiletto with the feathers. And I haven't worn these yet.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to have a toast as we're wrapping up. And we're going to once again say thank you so very much for your inspiration and encouragement that you have given to the young people. As you mentioned, special needs. I, too, have worked in the community of special needs. Mm-hmm. And when we say special needs, people say, well, what is that? What is that? And they categorize some of our young people and adults into these labels.
Yes.
And so then they start saying special needs just to kind of put it all together. And then you go, what exactly is special needs? So we're going to talk about that after we do this little toast here. Cheers. We're going to cheers here, over here. Cheers and toast. All right. He was covering his face, y'all. He got to do that again. You can't cover your face. Hey, that's what we talking about. And stilettos off to you, MIKEL Ruban. So in the world of special needs, when people say, okay, autism, ADHD, ADD, high functioning Asperger's, they just need extra special attention. Well, special needs go with a whole lot of different categories.
That's correct.
It's different levels.
That's correct.
It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. It just means you need a little attention on some of the things that's going on with you so you will be able to understand and how to process things differently. This is Domestic Differences Month. It is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. So you'll see some of my posts that are support to that awareness. Many people know that domestic differences and mentoring youth is my platform.
Okay.
So always giving back to the community and helping others, because we want people to be excited about the very being. And we talk about that. Now, I'm going to ask you this question, and you all know that I'm live and I just say stuff. So he don't have to answer the question, but if he don't, I'm going to click the button and cut the show off. No, I'm just kidding. What I like to know is, let's just say you're getting ready for a concert. And this is your concert. Someone's out there opening up for you right now, this minute. And you're sitting backstage. How do you get your mind set together before you pick up that saxophone and walk out that door and walk down the hallway to go onto the stage of, 1,000 people and so on that you're about to perform in front of, knowing that many of the people in that audience came to feel. They came to feel what it is you possess and what you're putting through that saxophone, because it calms their soul, it calms their spirit. How do you get ready before you walk out that door for a performance? Look right there.
It's a lot of things I do. First thing I do is get my horn ready.
Amen.
Once I get my reed ready, my horn ready, and I run through some little gymnastics on my horn to get it ready, and I just go and play. It's just, you just play. After you play your melody, the guy told me when I was growing, I just got back to LA. I think I was 26 or 27. He said, after you learn all those rudiments, you got to play yourself. Be you. And so after I went through all my skills and stuff that I wanted to learn, I started playing me. And I've been writing a long time. I started writing songs. And it's a trip. When you start writing your own songs, you start thinking different. Mm-hmm. And you start acting different because you're able to express your melodies. Right now, I have a catalog. I didn't tell you about that, but I have probably about 90 to 95 songs in my AppScat Publish Your Writer catalog with AppScat as a publisher and a writer right now.
Well, take that other feather. Let me some feathers. We're going to knock him some more feathers over here in his cap up here, right? But that is truly so wonderful. And like I said, you are an inspiration to the young people in more ways than one, of what you are doing, what you have done, and all the things to come. And I'm so very excited that you took time visiting Vegas at this point and came over to see me. Mm-hmm. And so as our show goes on the post and we share it, we want you to follow MIKEL REBUN, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Subscribe, and go to the other links like he mentioned, where you can actually see, download, support the music. You want booking, you want them to open and play at your wedding or what have you, reach out to him. Also in my post, you will see the contact information. It also gives you links so that you can go to some of those media outlets to be able to reach you. Oh, yeah. Is there anyone you want to say hello to real quick before we end our show?
Yeah. Hi, honey.
That's always beautiful. Well, that's been it for our Let's Talk About It segment on the Many Files Talk Show. Thank you for tuning in with us. I look forward to seeing you every single time we have our new set. And yes, one of you wrote in, just one of you, it just takes one. And they said, Many Files, your sign is backwards. Okay, yeah, my sign is actually straight. But when I turn the camera around to do my live, then my sign is a little backwards. But it still says the Many Files Talk Show, and that's what you need to know. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Subscribe.
Yes.
Reach out to MIKEL REBUN and make sure you are booking him and you are inspiring and motivated by his community outreach with our young people, etc., etc., etc. So I think we did everything. You got your stiletto, you got your Oscar, and you got your toast. We did it all, and I look forward to you coming back on the show real soon.
Yeah, I will. It's really nice. Thank you,
You are
Benny.
so welcome. You're so welcome. All right, everybody, that's been our show for tonight. Please, please, please send me your stories. Send me your ideas. Be a special guest for me on the show. It doesn't matter where you are musically inclined. Maybe you just a mother that just raised a bunch of kids and you need some love on your shoulder. Maybe you are just having some amazing things happen in your life and you want to share. And those of you that are cooks out there, you know we do Fox and the Friends in the kitchen. So come on, bring the shows on the story. All you got to do is reach out to me. Let's talk about it, fox@gmail.com. Let's talk about it, fox@gmail.com. That's been our show tonight. Thank you so much. And MIKEL's going to take us out with that fabulous song that we started the show with, you know, because his phone was tweeting earlier. So now we're going to go out in the jungle. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go out in the jungle and have a good time. We are here with MIKEL REBUN, and it's been a pleasure to work with him, listen to his stories, what he's been doing, what he's doing, what's coming in the future, and how you two can be completely involved in the movement of the music. There we go. Hey, turn that up. That's what I'm talking about. Hey.
Sly Jungle. This
I
is
got
mine.
Right now. You don't gotta come. Sly in the jungle. Sly in the jungle. Hey, Sly in the jungle. All right, y'all. That's been our show. Peace out. We love you. Take it easy.